When driving, vision might be an important factor for you, and the light output of these factory OEM headlights, well, they need a little bit to be desired. So stay tuned as we install these Morimoto XB headlights on this 2018 Honda Civic. So we've installed a handful of these Morimoto headlights on our personal rigs, and we are very happy with the quality and overall light output of these headlights. The factory headlights on this Honda Civic only have 2 bulbs versus this XB series headlight has 5 bulbs, so that's obviously going to give quite a bit extra light output there. There are some options on the wiring side of things that give you the option of doing a sequential or non-sequential blinker, which basically means it's either going to just truly blink, or if it's going to kind of run along and travel along the lens there. On the back side, this is the option. So the little wiring deal here, if you're going to want it sequential, you leave it unplugged. If you want it sequential, meaning just blinking, we're just going to go ahead and plug it in, but we like sequential, so we're going to leave it unplugged. The little pigtail here is added in, so if you have factory halogen lights on the Honda Civic, you'll leave this pigtail plugged in, and you'll end up plugging in these 3 connectors. If you have an LED on the factory car, then you'll just, you won't use this actual pigtail. This will plug into the factory system. So the tools are pretty simple, something that most guys will have in their toolboxes. We have the Phillips, which we need to remove a few screws on the inside of the fender well, a few tools to pop out the plastic rivets, and then maybe some flatheads to get some, to pry in and kind of help out pop a few things. And then we have a couple Allen head bolts underneath the car that we'll have to remove. So I think on top there's like 19 plastic rivets we have to pop out with I think 2 fasteners. And then underneath the rig, there is a couple Allens, and basically everything else is plastic rivets. So pretty simple to remove the front bumper. So these are the plastic rivets I was talking about. We need to go ahead and pop basically all these, this whole plastic shroud here on both sides, and then the handful that are within this plastic shroud. So next are the 2 Phillips screws on the wheel well on both passenger and driver side. After removing the Allen heads on the fender well, there is a little clip that's underneath this side marker here. Basically just have to get underneath, find it real quick, and press it down to get the clip to unhook from the front bumper. Next, there's 2 clips on the inside of these holes. It's a simple thing as pushing down on it and then popping her out just to let it release on both. There we go, got that. So we're going through this hole and we're pressing down right on this lever. All that's doing is dropping this tab down so it actually disconnects from this front shroud. So this obviously can be done all on the ground, being that we're doing a video for you guys. We're gonna lift the car up to show you all the tabs. So if you don't have one of these lifts in your driveway, I'd probably look at getting one. They're pretty handy. But underneath the bumper here, there's a few clips that we need to remove, just like what was on top, along with there's a 10 mil screw right here and an Allen head screw on both sides, passenger and driver here, and then just a various amount of plastic rivets we need to pop out. So on the back side here, remember underneath that reflector, that blinker, we had to pop the one tab down. There are two more small ones towards the front. And then once you pop that open here, there are two more small clips underneath the headlights, which are just a simple pop up deal. Right there, and it pops right off. At this point, it'd be nice to have just a helping hand, whether it's a buddy or wife or girlfriend or whatever, just to make sure that the bumper doesn't fall off, because I'm sure all Honda, prices this little piece of plastic at $2,000. Now we're in the home stretch of getting these factory headlights out. There is 5 10mm bolts holding these headlights in. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then our 5th one is right here in the front corner, and we'll have to use an extension to get to that one. And buzzer off. Now that we removed the factory headlights and exchanged the plastic shroud from the factory lights to the Morimoto XB headlights, we're ready to actually install the wiring harness basically into the factory harness. They're all a little bit different, whether they're 2-prong, 3-prong, large or small, so there's not really any way you can mess up the install on the wiring there. The only real option you have is sequential versus non-sequential. One thing you will have to replace as well is take these 2 plastic clips off the factory OEM headlights and replace it on the new Morimotos. Now that we have the new headlights installed with the wiring harness plugged back in, Before we actually get the bumper stab back on, we'll want to do a quick test to make sure that the high beams, low beams, and the blinkers are working properly. All right, so for kicks and giggles, I'll kind of show you. So this is the sequential movement where it's moving along the lens of the blinker there, and it's kind of going from inside to the outside of the vehicle. Now, if you didn't like that and you wanted just that standard blinker style, this is where that plug-in comes into play there. And if you were to plug that in, now it's just standard blinker style. So with that wiring harness connected and closing that loop, now it's standard blinker. If you like the sequential, then leave it unplugged, and now you kind of have that different style of a blinker. Before you pop in your actual last clip for the wheel well, just make sure that your fender shroud is on the inside of your bumper, and everything should pop right back into place. Now I'll raise the car back up in the air and buzz in those plastic clips and the Allen heads and those two 10mm, and then come back on top and start working in the engine bay. Now we've been pretty happy with the fit and finish of these Morimoto XB style headlights. If you would like a set of these for either your car or truck, check out our website at alligatorperformance.com.